Hey guys, Kane here. I've got another 1v1 for you. I'm actually going to be doing a small series between these two players that we have here. It's going to be NorthChileanG and Arteries. They played, it looks like a small series of 3 games in a row, and I'm going to be casting all 3 of them in chronological order. You see this first game here is on Badlands, I believe is the name of the map. NorthChileanG spawning in the southwest here. We're going to have Arteries up in the northeast, I would expect, and I guess we'll have to see for a moment where exactly he chooses to spawn. Should be a pretty interesting game. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try and focus on lower elo players most of the time because, I mean, anyone, I guess, can look up the high elo games, but having like specific commentary on the things that newer players do that are like less than optimal could be really helpful. At least it would have been for me while I was learning. So anyway, just making these as a resource, and I hope that it'll help someone out. We see NorthChileanG is going to spawn in here at the bottom left with the green trunks and the vehicle factory. We're going to see a red cloaky bot factory in the northeast from Arteries, and a strike commander, which is always interesting to see. Support commander from NorthChileanG, which is of course the standard 1v1 choice. So we're going to have, looks like a couple of glaives coming out early for Arteries. Looks like NorthChileanG is going to go perhaps for a Scorcher Rush. I'm not quite sure, but we do see 2 Scorchers coming up. No signs of Constructor on the way, and looks like a couple solar collectors after the metal, and then radar pretty early, which is always good to see. Early radar from Arteries actually before any energy or anything like that, which is a little bit surprising. And then a constructor after his first 2 raiders, which is fairly common opening, but he's leaving this factory idle. Okay, there we go. Looks like he'll be continuing to build some glaives then. More Scorchers coming out from NorthChileanG. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be mounting for a heavy Scorcher all in. Really the only option with a build like this. Looks like he's building the early radar, trying to suss out any all-ins from Arteries, just in case, which is always a good decision. Looks like Arteries has not built any energy quite yet, which might come back to bite him. You see that he's actually only producing 6 energy compared to his 10 metal, which essentially limits him to 6 metal income per second. So he's going to be building the solar collector immediately anyway. Needs at least one more. I would build, or I usually do build, solar collector on each of the metal extractors, at least for the first 3, and the factory's idle as well. Both of these are pretty big mistakes. You actually, typically, what you'll see is all 3 metal extractors, usually 2 pieces of E production, then an LLT, radar, maybe more E or more defenses, whatever you need, but usually that's the opening, and the whole time your factory's going, you might build 2 raiders, then your con, then more raiders, but you're always building something with the factory. It might be maybe some sort of intentional stoppage of the factory to put minerals elsewhere, but that's not very common. We are going to see this pack of Scorchers coming in. It looks like they're going to head up and meet these glaives here in just a moment. Seems to be what's happening. Let's have a look here. Yep, point moving right next to the glaives. The glaives totally know what's going on. They're moving to intercept in a line formation. They're going to need to kite these Scorchers. They obviously don't want to get in too close because, as we all know, the heat rays from the Scorchers deal more damage the closer the Scorchers are to their target. So if these glaives can sort of kite the Scorchers, keep them from getting the damage bonus, then they should be able to take it out handily. But it all depends on the, well, micro between the two. At this point, I would say that NorthChileanG actually has significantly larger military value here, 650 metal to 260, so he could probably just jump right in here, crush the Scorchers, come back, take out the LLT, maybe even the factory, but he's not doing any of that. This is terrible. You never want to see this. So NorthChileanG has invested so much metal right now, building this large army, but he's just poking around the front of the base with it. Looks like he's just now trying to sweep out to the back. More Scorchers coming in. Still no construction from NorthChileanG. So this is essentially an all-in, sending his entire military into Arteries base, but idling just outside of it. So much of it was vulnerable. He could have poked in and taken out at least a few things, but Arteries now has had so much advanced warning. We saw another LLT go down, so he has 2 LLTs and a defender, plus a defender on this metal extractor out here, and 4 glaives lined up to take this, and a warrior just came out of the factory as well. And it looks like this commander is morphed to level 1. Probably has some sort of, yep, heavy machine gun. So it looks like, oh, this commander, kind of close, a little dangerous. No, but the Scorchers do go down in the end. All 5 Scorchers go down with the help of that heavy machine gun and the 4 glaives that were there. That was, ouch. I mean, beautiful, beautiful hold by Arteries. Very unfortunate for NorthChileanG. It leaves him in a very awkward position now. having invested so much into his military and almost nothing into his economy. And it looks like he's going to be sending a second squad of Scorchers. See if these 4 can do better than the last 5 did. They're coming up to charge the metal extractor. They'll take that out at least. Going to take out these glaives probably as well. The 1 goes down. 2 Scorchers have gone down to the LLTs. This LLT needs to be taken out right now. Nope. Looks like that other Scorcher goes down. Just 1 left, and he gets taken out by the commander as well. Yeah, boy, that's rough, man. So we saw good early. Well, no, I can't say it was good, but we did see early aggression from NorthChileanG, which is something a lot of players forget to do. But it was poorly executed. He built 5 Scorchers, rushed them to the front step of Arteries, and waited outside on the welcome mat. He just needed to charge in. He tried to go in through the back door at the end. He managed to take out the metal extractor that was there, but he had delayed so long. There were so many fortifications. There was the commander with the heavy machine gun. The warrior had just come out. There was the 4 glaives. There was really just no hope. He had delayed far too long. If you're going to raid, you need to raid early, and you need to raid on the periphery. You can't be attacking the main base like that, NorthChileanG, or anyone else who's looking to raid in the early game. It's pointless. It doesn't make any sense. Attack the periphery. It's lighter defended. It's almost certainly more profitable to attack. And anyway, it looks like NorthChileanG has switched out of the Scorcher game. He's heading into Levelers now, the riot unit for the light vehicle factory. We should have a pretty easy time against these glaives. However, this particular Leveler is in a bad position. About 600 metal worth of glaives there, less than 500 metal worth of Levelers. So the glaives, I should say, could actually take out the Leveler with good micro. Not like this, though. If they pack up like this, the Levelers with the splash damage are going to take them out in 1 or 2 shots. If they spread out and surround the Levelers, then they can prevent any splash damage from occurring, which is a large part of the Leveler strength. And in fact, this is an even better solution here. Rocko's coming out now. Rocko's, being skirmishers, are able to shoot these Levelers, these riot units, from far away. You see that the Levelers can't hit these Rockos. They don't have the range to do it. So always a good choice to use skirmishers against riot units. They're going to be able to sort of just whittle these guys down, prevent them from doing any of the massive damage they're certainly capable of. And now here we see Arteries making the same mistake as NorthChileanG. He built all this military, which is great, but if you're going to build a military, you need to be doing something with it. Otherwise, it's dead metal. And having it sit out on the northwestern side is, certainly not useful. Looks like they'll be coming in for a raid now, but they should have had it in earlier. We see a pretty light assault here from NorthChileanG. He's going to suicide this Leveler into a pair of LLTs. Probably won't even take out this laser tower here. No, he does not. The Leveler goes down with absolutely no profit gain. Just suicided into a pair of LLTs. Oh, I hear a scythe. There we go. This scythe's going to try and take out this LLT. Looks like it's being repaired by the commander. Not much hope there. Oh, but he does manage to take it down with the help of the warrior. This scythe is certainly not going to be able to take out that commander like this, though. But the warrior pressing forward, pressuring the commander back into the base, at least keeping him from expanding. You don't really want to pursue too much with that warrior. Just keep the commander from doing it whatever he wants to do. And the glaives coming in now. Might be able to take out this damaged Leveler without much issue if 1 or 2 of them break off, but that's not what we're going to see. Instead, they're going to be charging, it looks like, directly into the heart, maybe taking out a metal extractor. Oh, well, they could have, but they didn't. Looks like they'll take out the Scorcher, probably this Ravager as well. At the same time, the commander having to deal with some problems on the northwestern part of NorthChilean's base. And so, despite his super aggressive military opening, NorthChileanG is actually on the defensive now because he suicided his military. He didn't capitalize the advantage that he could have gained from it. And now Arteries is coming back strong in the mid game. Here at the 7-minute mark, we're seeing that Arteries is more than doubled NorthChileanG's military value, although NorthChileanG did just drop his commander, which is certainly never a good thing. Economically, Arteries is pulled ahead of NorthChileanG, and also sits to be doing so even more. If you look how much reclaim there is in Arteries' base, there's 600 metal, plus an unbuilt metal extractor, plus tons of metal extractors on the periphery that he could have built up as well. So Arteries could be in a much better position than he is right now. So, it's always good to see early aggression, but yeah, there we go. There's the towel being thrown in from NorthChileanG. So, some takeaways there for new players. First of all, if you're going to do a heavy military opening, that is, you're not going to build an early constructor, then you need to be raiding pretty much immediately on the main base if you're going to go for it at all. And afterwards, you're going to stay away from the main base because, of course, that's the most heavily fortified part of the perimeter where all the military is going to be coming out of. Instead, you want to be raiding the peripheral parts that should be expanded to with the constructor, with the commander, trying to hit naked metal extractors. Similarly, if you're going to open with a early constructor, you need to be using it to expand immediately. Right away, you need to be expanding, and you should probably be expanding with a second constructor, maybe right around the 4 or 5 minute mark as well. You need to be aggressive with the military you have it on the field. It needs to be controlling some territory for you, and in that territory that you control, you need to be expanding with the constructors. And of course, you always need to have adequate solar collectors and build power to what's the word I'm looking for here? Enough for the metal that you're making anyway. And yeah, if you're going to go for a heavy all-in, I mean, you need to go all-in, and you need to do it very quickly. The longer you wait, the more prepared your opponent's going to be, especially if you let them scout it out. You know, if you send all 5 of the Scorchers into radar range like NorthChileanG did there, and then let them build some more defenses and a warrior, and get their glaives into position, things just aren't going to go well for you. So anyway, there's that. If I missed anything, or if you can think of anything the players might have done better, let me know in the comments. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.